Hi, I'm Christian Triola, author of The Missing Method for Guitar books. And in this video, we're going to talk about reading in the key of A flat in the middle of the neck. If you own Missing Method 2, one of the things you might notice is that when we get to the key of A flat, we come across a problem in fifth position. You either have to reach up higher or go back lower to get some of the notes. So the best thing you can do is to pick either one position, so you would start the A flat scale essentially on the 4th fret last string and play something like this. Or you can come up here and start the same scale on the B flat note, which is the 6th fret of the last string. And play it there. The only downside there is you don't get that A flat, so you'd have to shift back to do that. So sometimes you're going to shift between those two positions just to get A flat. So that's why I wanted to address this in a video, just to show you that A flat can be a little tricky in this position of the neck. Now before we go further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and download the PDF that you'll find along with this video. And that gives you a couple of example melodies that you can play in the key of A flat. And they're pretty well-known melodies that we're going to go over here in just a moment. Also, the key of A flat has 4 flats: B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. So there are other keys, of course, that do kind of move around the middle of the guitar neck. You're not going to really get an ideal positioning in the middle, but there are other places on the neck where it is a little bit more ideal. But I'm talking about just that middle section. So the first example song that we're going to look at is the song by the Beatles called Michelle. It's a very well-known song. It's technically an F minor and not A flat, but since both keys have 4 flats, as far as we're concerned here, it's virtually the same thing. Just that starting note is then different. So what we're going to do is take a look at that. It's in the PDF, like I mentioned, and I'm going to play through it so you can see how you might play through Michelle in the middle of the neck. So here we go. All right, so to start off, I like to use my middle finger on that note C that begins the melody. And then when we get to the next measure, I actually shift up to get the 2 6s and then kind of shift back. So here's what that would sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the actual melody they sing is a little bit different. This is just done for A flat purposes, I guess you could say. What we have is I shift all the way back to the 3rd fret, and then I come all the way up to the 8th fret to make the fingering easier to play. I'll show you again here. So again, we start with the 5th fret, move up to 6, shift back to 5, go to 4, go to 3, 6, 4, 6, 5. Then I move up to the 8th fret because it's easier to do 8, 6, 5 at the end of that part of the melody. Now the melody continues on in a similar manner, so I'm going to play some more of it here. We have the next part. And then after that, it goes into the bridge section of the song. Now, one thing I want to mention there that doesn't really have to do with A flat, but it's good for note reading, is that at the end of that, or toward the end of that first section, we have what are called quarter note triplets. And so that gives us that sound of da, 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 rather than just straight 8th notes would be like something like that. So do keep that in mind. All right, and speaking of quarter note triplets, the bridge section of the song starts off with quarter note triplets. after the pickup note. So we start off with the pickup note on the note C, which is the 3rd string, 5th fret, and we have you can hear that da da da, that quarter note triplet happening twice in that first full measure of the bridge, and then it continues on. So I'm going to play through the whole bridge so you can hear that. 1, 2, 3, 4, triple lick. Then at that point, it repeats back to the sign, which of course is a squiggly line with a line through it and the 2 dots. And it's in the PDF, so you'll be able to see the sign there. All right, so then it continues on, and then you take that to the coda. So I'm going to go right to the coda so you can hear what that part sounds like. So the coda starts on the 4th string, 5th fret, note G, and continues on. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And fades out. So that's a good example of how you could play A flat in this position. Now, if you noticed in that coda, I was locked in there pretty nicely into that 5th, 6th position area there. I didn't have to go back too much. But earlier in the song, I definitely went all the way down to the 3rd fret and then climbed back up here. And it just makes it easier to play in that section. Of course, that's not the only way you could play that. There are a lot of different ways you could read the tune. And so if you ignore the tab that's in there, you can try out as many different versions as you can come up with. All right, so that's not the only example I have. I also have a version of the melody to Sugar Pie Honey Bunch, the famous 4 Tops tune. So you can also try that one out. So I'm just going to play through that one quickly so you can hear what it sounds like, and then you can try that one out on your own. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you can hear on that one, we land right there on that A flat, so it's clearly an A flat. At least this version is. The original song, I think, is in G. But just for practice, I put it in A flat so you can try that out. Okay, all right, so I hope that helps you navigate the key of A flat a little bit better on the neck. You can see reading it in that middle section does require you to shift around a little bit to get everything the way you'd like. So if you enjoyed that video, definitely like and subscribe if you haven't already. And go over to themissingmethod.com so you can check out what's new, any new books we've been putting out or videos. And you can sign up for our newsletter. And when you do, you'll get a free ebook. So don't forget about that. All right. Well, I'll see you in the next video.